On his birthday night, love was traded quietly while ambition watched from the shadows. Kola smiled, holding promotion dreams as Hannah felt something sacred crack inside her. Morning brought applause at work and silence at home thick with shame. When praise turned to spit, a single word burned her soul forever. Listen closer, traveler, and walk this tale with me by subscribing for more nights. Kola was a slim Lagos office worker with careful smiles, ambitious eyes, and pressed shirts, known as gentle by neighbors, yet restless inside. Married to Hannah, whose calm presence softened his sharp hunger daily. Hannah carried warmth like morning light, teaching Sunday school, braiding hair for children, believing prayer could lift heavy seasons, trusting her husband deeply, unaware of the quiet bargains forming behind his affectionate laughter. Their home sat in a noisy Surelier street where generators hummed nightly, neighbors greeted dawn loudly, and bills arrived faithfully. Yet inside the flat, love tried to bloom between shared meals, prayers, and postponed dreams. Every weekday, Kola left early, chasing recognition at a mainland firm, returning late with stories of promotions missed, laughing politely while disappointment slept in his chest, growing heavier whenever Hannah spoke hope. At the office, his boss, Mr. Ade, controlled destinies with signatures, praising others openly, overlooking Kola kindly, promising vague tomorrows, while colleagues climbed ranks, shaking hands Kola wished were his. Birthdays usually meant prayers and small cake, but this year Kola planned loudly, inviting co-workers and managers, insisting celebration would change fortune, as Hannah sensed unease beneath his excitement she could not name. Friends saw a loving couple exchanging jokes, touching hands, sharing faith, yet beneath the smiles silence grew, because faith was being tested by ambition, and ambition had begun whispering dangerous shortcuts to Kola. In that ordinary Nigerian rhythm, something waited patiently, like harm hiding behind celebration drums, ready to step forward when music rose, because the surface of their lives was calm while cracks widened quietly. Kola's birthday arrived with loud music and rented chairs, co-workers laughing, drinks flowing, and Mr. Ade sitting like royalty, while Hannah moved politely among guests, smiling, unaware that her husband's heart was racing with a planned request. Late into the night, when laughter thinned, Kola pulled Hannah aside, his voice shaking, eyes pleading, saying, "If you truly love me, help me secure our future tonight," words landing heavy as thunder inside her chest. Hannah froze, hearing his meaning unfold slowly, realizing he wanted her body traded for promotion, her breath tightening as faith and love collided, while music outside continued careless and loud. She whispered prayers through tears, reminding him of God, dignity, marriage vows, but Kola insisted sacrifice was necessary, promising it would be once, promising afterward life would finally reward their patience. Inside Hannah's mind, fear wrestled devotion, memories of encouragement turning against her, while Kola's desperation pressed harder, his ambition louder than conscience, leaving her feeling cornered by love she trusted. When Mr. Ade's eyes met hers knowingly, Hannah understood the bargain was already sealed, her consent assumed, her humanity shrinking, as Kola nodded eagerly like a man begging fate for mercy. That night ended without joy, candles melting low, as Hannah walked toward a decision she never imagined, her heart breaking quietly while Kola smiled, believing tomorrow would crown him victorious. As dawn crept in, something sacred slipped away forever, because one choice had been made, and its echo would chase them beyond promotion, beyond love, into consequences neither fully understood. The promotion letter arrived quickly, applause followed Kola everywhere, yet Hannah moved like a ghost at home, sleepless and quiet, carrying a secret heavier than praise, while Kola celebrated, believing sacrifice had paid. Kola bought gifts and spoke softly, touching Hannah with rehearsed tenderness, but she flinched often, remembering the night, washing hands repeatedly, praying silently, as love felt distant and her body no longer hers. At work, Mr. Ade summoned Kola frequently, smiling broadly, assigning responsibilities publicly, while whispers followed Hannah's name in hallways she never entered, rumors moving faster than truth, cutting her deeper each day. Hannah tried coping through church chores and fasting, avoiding friends, shrinking her laughter, while Kola ignored signs, chasing status, attending dinners alone, telling himself success required hardness, even if love bruised. The obstacle grew as Kola's pride hardened. He dismissed Hannah's tears as weakness, demanding gratitude, saying destiny favored bold men, words striking her like slaps, leaving her isolated within marriage walls. Neighbors noticed silence where laughter lived, meals untouched, lights off early, as Hannah's eyes dulled, yet Kola paraded confidence, mentoring juniors, rehearsing speeches, blind to the cost already paid dearly. Attempts to heal failed as apologies stayed unsaid, intimacy froze, prayers felt heavy, and Hannah sensed her worth slipping away, while Kola measured life by titles, not tenderness, choosing distance repeatedly. Months passed with Kola rising confidently, dressing sharper, speaking louder, while Hannah faded into routine silence, carrying smiles for visitors, hiding wounds beneath wrappers, as success widened the emotional distance between husband and wife. Kola began coming home late, phone guarded, temper short, correcting Hannah harshly, reminding her of what she did for him, twisting sacrifice into leverage, making her feel trapped by her own painful obedience. At social gatherings, Kola joked carelessly, hinting at women and power, laughing with colleagues, while Hannah sat quietly, sensing eyes on her, feeling judged without words, as shame clung like sweat. Church elders asked gently about her sadness, but Hannah said little, fearing exposure, fearing blame, choosing silence over scandal, while praying God saw her heart and recorded every tear shed secretly. Kola's boss praised him openly again, giving tasks that kept him away, strengthening his pride, while Hannah's loneliness deepened, her reflection unfamiliar, her spirit tired, wondering when love turned conditional. One evening, Kola accused her of ingratitude, saying promotion brought comfort, yet she complained too much, his voice sharp, his eyes cold, as Hannah realized he now saw her differently forever. That night, she slept on the floor praying, while Kola scrolled messages smiling, the gap between them no longer emotional only, but moral, spiritual, and human, widening beyond easy repair. Tension peaked quietly, like rope pulled too tight, because words left unsaid were fermenting, and the man who begged sacrifice was slowly becoming the judge of the woman who paid it. The change came suddenly as Kola stopped touching Hannah, stopped greeting her warmly, returning home with contempt in his eyes, speaking less, watching her like a stain he regretted bringing inside his polished life. Hannah felt fear coiled tightly, sensing love had expired, replaced by judgment, as Kola muttered insults under breath, calling her careless, calling her shameful, making her wonder when she became enemy in her own home. One night, anger exploded as Kola shouted that she was dirty, a harlot, blaming her for how he now saw her, forgetting his request, rewriting history to protect his pride and destroy her spirit. Those words shattered Hannah completely, echoing through her mind, breaking faith, breaking self-worth, leaving her collapsed on the floor shaking, realizing the sacrifice had earned only disgrace and abandonment. She begged him to remember love, vows, prayers, but Kola laughed bitterly, saying success exposed truth, claiming he could never respect a woman who slept for promotion, denying his role entirely. Hannah wandered the streets at dawn crying silently, avoiding neighbors, clutching her chest, asking God why obedience became punishment, feeling unseen, unloved, and dangerously close to losing herself. Divorce papers arrived like final blows, signed quickly by Kola, his face blank, while Hannah stood numb, understanding her marriage was over, her name ruined, her future uncertain and frightening. At her lowest point, Hannah disappeared quietly, leaving no note, no trace. Only memories, as Kola stood alone afterward, sensing something irreversible had slipped away forever. Weeks after Hannah vanished, silence haunted Kola's apartment, echoes of her prayers lingering, as success felt hollow, nights longer, and whispers at work shifted tone, curiosity turning sharp around his sudden promotion. Mr. Ade stopped calling Kola often, meetings cooled, smiles faded, while office rumors spoke of investigations, complaints, and quiet reviews, making Kola uneasy, sensing ground beneath his achievements weakening. One afternoon, a cleaner recognized Kola and whispered that Hannah had visited earlier months ago, crying softly, refusing help, saying she had given everything already, words piercing Kola like delayed thunder. Guilt stirred faintly as Kola recalled her tears, yet pride resisted, until an email summoned him unexpectedly, not for praise, but questioning procedures surrounding his promotion, forcing memories he buried to surface. During the inquiry, Kola realized his advancement lacked merit records, only private recommendations, making him sweat as truth threatened exposure, and for the first time ambition felt like a trap closing tightly. That night he dreamed of Hannah walking away endlessly, turning once to ask why he sold love for titles, waking him shaking, heart pounding, as conscience finally found a voice he could not silence. Desperate, Kola searched churches, hospitals, bus parks, calling Hannah's name, begging forgiveness into empty air, while understanding dawned painfully that his rise was built on betrayal, not blessing. Hope flickered cruelly as he resolved to confess everything if it meant finding her, realizing the turning point was not promotion or demotion, but whether truth could still redeem what pride destroyed. The confrontation arrived at work as Kola was summoned publicly, managers seated sternly, documents spread, voices cold, accusing him of unethical conduct, favoritism, and compromised integrity, while colleagues watched silently, remembering his sudden rise. Kola tried defending himself, blaming misunderstanding, but evidence pressed hard, and Mr. Ade avoided his eyes, exposed now, as truth peeled away prestige, leaving Kola small before the system he tried to cheat. His promotion was stripped immediately, duties removed, respect evaporating, as murmurs followed him out, and the applause that once fed him now tasted bitter, teaching him how quickly borrowed honor collapses. Outside the building, rain fell heavily, mirroring Kola's shame, as he dropped to his knees crying, realizing he had lost job standing, marriage, and self-respect chasing validation he already possessed. Later that evening, Hannah appeared briefly in his mind, not physically, confronting him through memory, her silence louder than words, forcing Kola to admit his cruelty, hypocrisy, and cowardice fully. He shouted apologies into empty rooms, smashing frames, confessing aloud his role in her destruction, while neighbors listened quietly, witnessing a man finally meeting consequences without an audience to applaud. Kola reported himself formally, naming Mr. Ade, accepting blame, hoping honesty might ease his conscience, though he knew confession could not retrieve the woman he sacrificed at ambition's altar. The confrontation ended with Kola alone, reputation ruined, future uncertain, as justice arrived not loudly, but firmly, teaching that power gained through harm always demands painful repayment. News spread quickly as Mr. Ade was suspended and later dismissed, the office buzzing with shock, while Kola faced demotion and probation, his once bright name reduced to cautionary whispers spoken softly by former admirers. Kola moved to a smaller apartment, selling possessions, living simply, carrying regret like shadow, replaying moments he could never fix. understanding punishment was not only loss of rank, but constant remembrance. Meanwhile, Hannah's absence became legend. Some said she traveled north. Others said she found quiet work elsewhere, rebuilding dignity anonymously, choosing healing over explanation, letting silence protect her rebirth. Kola searched relentlessly, asking churches, women's shelters, markets, but found only stories, realizing forgiveness cannot be demanded, and some wounds require distance, not reunion, to finally close. One evening, a letter arrived without return address, containing only scripture about God seeing hidden tears, offering no name, no forgiveness, yet enough to confirm Hannah lived beyond his reach. Kola wept reading it, thankful yet broken, accepting that justice does not always restore relationships, but teaches accountability, humility, and respect for souls entrusted to love. At work, Kola served quietly, mentoring honestly, refusing shortcuts, his voice softer, eyes lowered, carrying lessons learned too late, but now lived intentionally. Justice settled unevenly yet firmly, not by reunion, but by truth, consequences, and survival, proving that life restores balance even when hearts remain scarred. Years passed quietly as Kola aged humbler, serving others without applause, learning patience through loss, discovering that character outlives titles, and peace grows slowly where pride once ruled loudly. Hannah lived somewhere unnamed, working honestly, laughing again, choosing boundaries, trusting God with scars, allowing dignity to return gently, proving survival itself can be victory without revenge. Their story lingered in whispers, teaching young couples about consent, faith, and courage, reminding listeners that love must never be coerced, and ambition without conscience becomes a hungry fire. Elders used the tale carefully, warning youths that shortcuts poison destinies, and that sacrifices demanded by selfishness destroy families, while patience and integrity quietly build lasting honor. Kola never remarried, choosing accountability daily, praying for Hannah's joy without seeking credit, learning that repentance is living rightly after wrongdoing, not pleading for erased consequences. Hannah never returned publicly, protecting her healing, understanding closure is personal, and that sometimes God rescues people by removing them from places that diminish their worth. So this story rests like a mirror, reflecting choices we face privately, when desire pressures values, and when love is tested by hunger for status and approval. And so I ask softly what choice you would make when ambition demands a loved one's sacrifice, and whether love should ever be a currency. Share your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe for more.